So I am a week in to this spiritual odyssey that I've embarked upon to want to say heal my chronic back pain, but what I've realized is it is much, much bigger than that. I am going deep within myself to unlock a lot of emotional pain and just understand where the pain is actually coming from in the first place, the root cause of it. So what I'm going to do is read just kind of an update of what's been going on over the past week, what I've been feeling. Obviously, writing a lot about everything, and want to share that. And then also um, this chronic pain self-assessment that I did, which was very helpful just to understand that this is indeed psychological, emotional pain that is causing physical pain in my body. And so first, I'm going to read this little story. So it's hard for me to fathom that this is indeed the beginning of the rest of my life. I could have gone on for years addressing this pain physically, but I had to hit rock bottom and have those 3 flare-ups in the last month. I had to reach out to my BBB group for help, which was my back breakthrough blueprint group, which is what I've been doing for the last year to physically get to the root of this chronic back problem. Ultimately, I had to find and reach out to this one woman in the group who had healed her body, not through physical means, but by healing emotionally. That all had to happen for me to stop and finally long to understand that there's a lot of inner work that I have to do. I was having dinner with a friend a couple of nights ago, and he said, what if you don't see this as just healing your back pain? What if you're just healing and the back pain going away is just a byproduct of that? And this blew my mind. I'm really trying to take that approach, seeing this as the most important work that I'll ever do. It feels like I'm stepping through a threshold, finally, from my childhood into adulthood. I can make peace with my past and start living my life. Over the years, I've wanted so badly for this pain to end. I sought out every modality and tried what felt like anything and everything to erase this pain and make it nothing but a memory in totality. But that's not how it works. The body is an intelligent system, an art form, not a machine to be fixed, perfectly tuned without ever suffering another hitch. Quality art doesn't represent perfection. It expresses the full breadth of life. And that breadth represents both pain and beauty, for they're often one and the same. And this was big, just a mindset shift for me, just not seeing this problem so much as I need to make sure my body is perfectly tuned to get out of this back pain, because when the MRIs don't really show much at all, mine just show a couple of bulging discs, which, if you aren't familiar with this world, sounds kind of drastic, but a lot of us have bulging discs and have no back pain. It's just kind of something that happens as you age and you live an active lifestyle. So nothing seriously showing in the MRIs or anything. And that is a huge clue for realizing that this is psychological, emotional pain. Life is not black and white, healed or broken. It's nuanced. And in that nuance is meaning, experience, purpose, strength. As much as I want this pain to be gone forever, it's going to rear its head from time to time. And this kind of comes from me speaking to several people and realizing that they still, get flare-ups and feel pain from time to time, even though they're healed. Because as much as I want this to just be over, back pain erased from my life, from my memory and everything, that's not how it works. That's not what life is. Our trauma, as an example, isn't just erased from our life. It makes us who we are. And by dealing with it, we become stronger, we grow, and it's going to rear its head, at different times of our lives. We're going to feel triggered and we're going to have those responses to it. And that's life. That's the nuance of life that makes it interesting and real and passionate and gritty. It's not just like you flip a switch and it's over, but you can still overcome 100%. And that's what I'm on the path to doing. Be easy on yourself. You don't have unlimited energy. You are diving deep into your soul, your pain, your healing. You need space to process, space to allow the pain to come and go if it's meant to right now. This isn't the time to do as much as I can. It's the time to breathe, heal, forgive, and better understand. I had my first therapy session this past week, which is a huge part of this healing process. I came home and I slept after. I had lunch, then I slept. It took it out of me. I felt drained after it. I cried. It was a lot. For the first time, I'm lucky that one of my best friends who I do my podcast with is a life coach. My mom is a life coach. And I have, several other of my best friends, pretty much all of them, I can talk to freely about what I'm dealing with. And I have to. That's really been the only way that I've dealt with this pain over the years. But therapy is different. I met this person for the first time and I just told them everything about my life as much as I could in an hour. And with a friend, there's still stuff that you might feel a little bit uncomfortable talking about with family, for sure, because a lot of our emotional pain comes from family. A therapy session, a therapist, the first time I felt like I could just speak freely, 100% without holding anything back. And that is healing, very much so. Be easy. Process. One day at a time. That's all this could be. Take it day by day. When you think about the big picture, for example, thinking this has to change in 3 months, all you see is a time frame with chartable progress. You don't see all that takes place in a single day. You don't see the call with a friend that heals you, something that I experienced today. You don't see the nap that you needed. You don't see the bout of pain that you overcame, which drained you, yet overcoming it calmly with a new perspective that, it's not real. That was a major step. You don't see that stuff. You just see, when you look at the big picture, create a timeline, all you see is, am I failing or am I succeeding? All we can do is take it day by day with anything, with life. It's amazing. Everything can change in a single day. And all we can do is focus on now, right now. Pay attention to what we're doing, how we're feeling, staying calm. We'll face tomorrow just the same, but it's not worth worrying about now. One day at a time. I'm going to feel pain again. I'm going to go through bouts as I progress through this process. But now I know how to deal with it. I truly know what I'm dealing with. The pain is telling us something. And when it does come, it's an opportunity not just to pray it goes away, but to grow. Reading an awesome book right now by the psychoanalyst James Hollis. It's called Under Saturn's Shadow. He says, consciousness only comes from suffering. Without some form of suffering, physical, emotional, spiritual, we're content to rest easy in the old dispensation, the old comforts, the old dependencies. End quote. There will inevitably be little relapses from time to time. Accepting that is a big part of the healing process. Because like I said, life is not just black and white. You're healed or you're broken. It's nuanced. The point isn't merely to erase the pain, but to change our perception of pain and what it actually means. The pain may make us conscious to ask what's really going on. In the end, the relapses mean nothing, but we can gain so much from them if we see them as opportunities. We're going on an adventure, a journey. We're not ever coming back. an adventure into the valley of my soul, the ocean of my lungs, the mountains of emotion. We're exploring them as if for the first time. Will you join me? If you don't, it's okay. I may have to go alone. I'm ready. I'm breathing. I'm scared. I'm alive. And I'm not going to return the same. But just know, the kid I was, that I'll always love you. Today, I imagine a period of my childhood that I've seen in a kind of negative light. Maybe I was around 11 or 12, kind of between being a little kid and adolescence. And I remember just being kind of angry all the time. I think I was just also sad, and I didn't realize that until my first therapy session. I didn't know how to share at the time. I didn't know what to say, so I just said nothing. And I think I've been judging myself a lot for being that quiet, angry kid. I judge myself for staying silent with my face all scrunched up. I think of pictures from that time of me just sad and just big old frown on my face. I judge myself for just closing the door and wanting to sleep. But nobody knows what you went through. I'm here for you. Me, the older me, visiting that kid. And I tell him, I understand. Nobody else needs to. I see you, and I know that you feel pain. But I'm with you, little Vin, and I love you. In the end, this season of pain will be but a small chapter of my life. Yet it's opened my eyes, my soul, my wounds. And we're just getting started. Pain is the magnifying glass held up to the map of my existence. And I'm so grateful. So proud of who this challenge has made me. And now, in this season, which I'm just stepping into, Tokyo, 28, it'll be defined by this spiritual odyssey, from stepping from the forest into the open air. But there's no answer that needs to be found in the daylight. But now I may simply run free. My body will release as the emotions release. As the pain melts away, the body will return to its natural state. I don't need to find some answer. Through journaling every day, the tension is simply releasing. The lessons and understanding will sink into my subconscious. And I just need to understand that I'm not broken. My body is fine, healthy, strong. It needs to sink in that there's nothing wrong with me. And on a physical level, maybe a little crazy upstairs, but that this pain is just my body's way, my brain's way of distracting me from the emotion that I've suppressed by sending painful signals to my body. In the past, I've journaled about handling the pain. It helped me cope, to say the least. I journaled because I didn't understand what I was feeling. I didn't get why I was in pain. Why is this happening to me? What can I do? Will it be forever? All based on fear. All based on the unknown. I journaled because I had nothing else to do to help me understand and help me get through it. But journaling helped me see the light. It helped me see what's so good about this world. And man, I'm so grateful for that. But now, journaling, the act itself is the key. Journaling about my past, not about the pain. Journaling about my emotions that have been suppressed. Journaling about my fears of the future and who I long to be. The things I feel now that maybe I feel I shouldn't be feeling. So now it's different. Journaling, the act itself, is the key. Man, and a big part of it is facing fears. the things where I've told myself, you can't do this because it causes back pain. You can't do this because you're in pain. Pretty much everything. I rode the bike. So it's like in psychology and therapy, you're supposed to gradually expose yourself to things you fear. So I ran for the first time this week, just 10 minutes on Tuesday, which, man, it felt good. I've been dying to get back to running. I did the bike yesterday, another cardio exercise, just at the gym for 30 minutes, and I was pain free the rest of the day. It was incredible. I missed so badly just that good sweat. That zone 2, baby. All right. Well, that's the story. Now I'm going to kind of walk through this chronic pain self-assessment that I did that was incredibly helpful. And I think this isn't just for chronic pain. It's very helpful if you actually are feeling physical pain in your body, but just for you to understand the emotional wounds you may have, but aren't seeing, the emotions that you aren't allowing yourself to feel. And it's not just chronic pain that this creates. It's anything in the body that can't really be explained. I mean, it's all pain in one way or another, but headaches, IBS, stomach problems, rashes, like the list goes on. A lot of this is emotional, and it's amazing that I failed to see that for 6 years because, I wanted this to just be physical because I wanted to just wanted to just figure it out. It had to be an answer that I could solve with my body, but the mind, it's a working art form. The brain is so powerful. It literally creates our cells and changes us from the inside out based on the things we think, the things we tell ourselves. And this all comes from You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, about the brain mostly. It's mind-blowing. So I'm going to walk through this self-assessment here. So the backbone of everything I'm learning right now comes from Dr. John Sarno, who kind of coined the term TMS, tension myositis syndrome. But people either kind of refer to this physical response to emotional pain as TMS or the mind-body syndrome. And that's what it is. It's a physical response to emotional pain, emotional events, trauma. And Dr. Sarno in his books theorized that the brain creates the pain or symptom in an attempt to distract us from these overwhelming emotions. So it could come from, like for me, it started what felt like there was a tipping point. I did get injured in working out in the gym. I had a bulging disc, but that should heal in like 6 to 8 weeks doing the right stuff. Chronic pain happens when, so there's an injury and then physical trauma, kind of stays and lingers because stress, tension, unresolved emotions, they all kind of hold that pain there and kick your body into a constant fight or flight stress response. And so it could either be a distraction, the physical pain is a distraction, keeping you from looking deep within and resolving or just unearthing those emotions. Or it just comes from the stress, the tension that is constantly keeping your body in just a high intensity fight or flight mode. And I think it's really a combination of these things for me. And I'll show you why as we walk through this. Okay. So unresolved emotions and the role in creating pain and other symptoms. So unresolved emotions are emotions that you repress, reject, don't have time for, that you feel, but convince yourself that you shouldn't feel that way for whatever reason. Basically, they are emotions that are too scary, dangerous, or don't fit in with your self-image of yourself. Or unresolved emotions could be emotions that occurred that you are well aware of, but you hold on to them and choose not to let go. This is holding a grudge, holding resentment or hurt. By the way, this all comes from Self-Assessment by Dan Buglio, painfreeyou.com. He's a pain-free, kind of chronic pain coach who follows the TMS mind-body philosophy. I'll put a link to it in the show notes here. Okay. So the first exercise was responding to each of these negative, in quotes, emotion and what it means to you. What does it mean about you if you allow yourself to feel the emotion? So with anger, I wrote that I don't have my emotions under control, or I'm not grateful for what I have. Okay. And that's interesting because I think I'm repressing anger that's been stored in me for a long time. James Hollis says, in each man is a lake of tears and a mountain of anger. That's just repressed. So I think that, I should be so grateful. I come from such a privileged background, such a loving family. I have so much to be grateful for. How could I possibly be angry? And that's part of the reason where I suppress this emotion. I've kind of built this platform, this identity of somebody who's persevering, persisting, and just joyful and not angry. So I think when I'm mad about something, I have the self-dialogue, self-talk. It's like, who are you to be angry? You. It's ungrateful, You should just be counting your blessings. But it does not matter who we are, where we come from. Nobody is exempt from feeling these emotions, and with reason. You never know what somebody else is going through, no matter how the background looks or how the life looks on the surface. Rage is the next one. Rage. I don't get enraged often. I don't know the last time I've been enraged besides dealing with my back. But same sort of thing. I would just think like, who are you to be pissed off about something? It's just trivial. You have so much to be grateful for. Next, sadness. I think, I've learned a lot in these past years, in the past month, or but yes, in this past month, this past week as well, just as I've really dove into the psychology side of this and sadness. I've learned a lot from the book The School of Life by Alain de Botton. It's an amazing book. Just about we need to feel sadness, We need to feel melancholic. That is a beautiful part of life because that is life. Life is not, the overly joyful kind of fake person is probably the one who's hurting the most. Reality is a sort of beautiful melancholy. It's unsatisfying. It's difficult. It's life, It's where the beautiful art comes from. The movies that really capture something and speak to your soul. They depict that melancholy that is hard to describe. That's sadness. And I think I allow myself to feel sad. Just because I've learned, as I'm saying, like the importance of it, that I do feel sad. Even though I'm in Japan, I'm living my dream. It still takes work to be joyful and grateful, and we could always make it happen, We could try our best. But I still get sad. Because something about life is always unsatisfying, and unless we ask what that is and dig into it, we'll compensate for it and we'll try to suppress it, And I think it's important, even if we on the surface feel like we've accomplished the things we want to accomplish, we've gotten to where we go, we think we should be happy. Feel sad, not just to ignore that and say, who are we to feel sad? We shouldn't feel that way, but to just dig into it, ask why. Where does it come from? Is it even something that's present now that's making you sad, or is it unresolved from the past? Okay. Next up, we got fear. Fear. Yeah. Good one. Fear. If I feel fear, maybe I think that I'm not brave, that I'm weak. I'm not the person I purport myself to be. Person that's moved to a foreign country, it's in Japan, that's going for my dreams. Who am I to feel fear? Well, let me tell you, I do feel it. I'm afraid of things not working out. I'm afraid of this pain, being like this, not getting back to the things I love. But I'm facing that. And what is fear if we build our lives upon facing it? Because we all feel fear. Guilt. I think I allow myself to feel guilty because I know I've done some stupid shit and I feel really bad about it. I'm not going to do it again. Not going to be explicit, but I know I've made mistakes and either beat ourselves up about that or we can truly learn from it and not do it again. And I mean, that's what regret, that's what guilt is. It's holding on to the things we regret. You gotta let it go. And I'm trying to figure out what it means to let something go. What does that mean? How do you do it? And I think it's just digging into it, making peace with it, trying, speaking to it, writing a letter to that person if it's related to a person, and not sending it. Just exploring. And I can't say it enough how important journaling is, because just thinking about something gets you nowhere. It's just like a pinball knocking around in your brain, doesn't truly empty you out. And like I said, I don't need to find an answer, but by just journaling every single day for at least 3 months, I'm going to unload so much that's within me that I almost see it as impossible not to heal on some level. And it's already begun. Shame, the next one. Shame. And I felt shame for being in pain. That's where a lot of my shame, Dr. Seuss, has come from in the last 6 years. How am I in my 20s in pain, back pain, which is has a connotation of being something you should get when you're older. Back pain. That's you don't get back pain in your 20s. But I've had it and I can't fix it. Couldn't fix it. Couldn't get to the root of it. And I felt shame for that. I can't fucking figure this out. I feel shame for talking to people about it because it kind of shows that I'm not doing anything about it. But little do they know, I'm trying everything. I just can't get to the root of it. And I felt shame for that. And this is actually really recommend Under Saturn's Shadow, The Wounding and Healing of Men by James Hollis. And it's all about just these repressed emotions, these things that all men feel, shame and guilt, fear. And we build these walls, facades to cover that up, the stuff that we all feel. And shame is a big part of that. We feel, because there's, by society standards, things that we think we need to be a man or to be successful on the surface. And if we're not there, we feel shame for it. I feel shame for not making a lot of money for myself. And I feel like I should be, am I truly an adult if I'm, still scraping by more or less? But like, what is success? What is work? Like, this is the most important work I feel like I'll ever do, but I'm also not building a career in the sense that I'm not in a job and just kind of figuring out my shit right now. But I can't go on anymore like this. This has to end and change now. And that's something I need. Well, I'm working through the shame of that, you know? Yeah. So, and do you allow yourself to feel that shame? Like, what if I feel shame? What does feeling that emotion actually mean? And that's like an extra wound on top of the wound. So if I feel bad for, if I'm, hard on myself for being in back pain and not being able to figure it out, then I think, like, who am I to be hard on myself? Like, I shouldn't feel shame. I shouldn't feel ashamed for that. Or, I don't even know. Maybe I'm just getting too deep down that one. Back off. Uh, Grief, just interesting. Actually, I had a dream about my grandpa Dickie last night, and I woke up and I wrote about it, journaled. Keep the pen and journal next to your bed, folks. Moments like this. Less steps to start journaling, the better. And I started writing. It was an interesting one. He was at the front of a large arena, but it wasn't really focused around him. But then he started talking, and I was like next to him, by him. The sun was on him, and everyone started listening. And then I went to get him some water as he was talking. And then I woke up. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it got me thinking, have I really processed my grandpa, both of my grandpas passing away when I was relatively young? And my grandma, one of them, one is still strutting along, 94. But what does it mean for your grandparents to pass as a little kid? My first dealings with death and grief. And definitely dream about my grandpa, Dickie, mostly, quite often. So, thinking more about that one. Hurt. What does it mean if I feel hurt? What do I tell myself? Maybe it means that, I tell myself, oh, you should have thick skin. You shouldn't feel hurt by this petty thing. I want to see myself as forgiving and open and not getting stung by, other people and not letting them control me, but controlling myself. And maybe I'm not allowing myself to feel hurt by something that may seem like nothing on the surface. I tell myself like I could get through, this means nothing. They didn't mean it. It's not about you, all that stuff. But am I allowing myself just to feel hurt about certain things? And jealousy. And that's something I definitely feel. I am human. We all feel jealousy. And sometimes I tell myself, I've battled with it. Like, who are you to feel jealous? You have so much to be grateful for. Same stuff. That, like, coming from privilege and a body that works and everything. Like, just focus on you. But it's okay to feel jealous. It is okay to want what others have or just be pissed off by somebody. You feel that hotness inside. Feel that hotness for them. You feel that hotness inside of you boiling up. It's jealousy is real. And I think just expressing it healthfully is important. Another way, journaling, important way to do that. And those are those. And then the next step here, identifying the emotions which don't fit in with your own self-image. So, I think I've built a bit of a self-image on social media, and just self-image is just what you tell yourself to be. You wake up and it's like, this is who I am. And I see myself as bold and joyful, optimist, gritty, been able to deal with this pain, but grateful for it. It's a lot of positivity, and I hope it's not fake positive. That's like another thing I kind of grapple with, but I also don't want to overcompensate for that, and that's thinking too deep. But if I feel anger, does that fit in with my self-image? It's like, no, I feel like I'm cool-headed and joyful and grateful. Like, I think things through. I'm not an angry person. Rage, what do I have to be enraged about? Sadness, who am I to feel sad? I illuminate the good in the world, or at least that's what I try to do. The light in life, and I hope to be a beacon for others. Fear, I think, I've kind of built this persona on embracing fear and facing it. Not saying that any of this stuff is true, but like, this is the persona that I kind of think is, what I've built, and who I try to be, at least. Guilt, shame, grief, hurt, jealousy, kind of along the same stuff. Do they fit in with your self-image? And if they don't, that means that you're kind of you're hiding your shadow self. And it's very important to embrace that shadow self. Because if you don't, you're really not seeing the complete picture. And that's what this is all about. He says, if you found some of the core emotions that don't fit in with who you picture yourself to be, you're on the right track. So that means you're suppressing stuff or kind of blocking out these important, darker emotions. And then some keys to, let's see here, some keys to really solidify if this is TMS, mind-body syndrome. And of course, make sure it's nothing serious, like you don't have cancer or there's something not seriously wrong with your body. But for the most part, like, it is this psychological, emotional pain. So number one, your pain has lasted for longer than 6 to 8 weeks. Again, this is longer than the body typically takes to heal from any true physical injury or tissue damage. Yes, 6 years. 2, does your pain change in intensity? Again, structural change causes for pain would not hurt at level 2 today and at level 9 tomorrow without anything else really changing. Number 3, do you hurt sometimes but not other times? And I answer yes to the last question. Number 3, do you hurt sometimes but not other times? If the pain was structural, it wouldn't come and go. It'd be constant. And yes, I do. I usually don't feel much pain at all when I'm traveling with friends. I'm just with friends. It pretty much goes away. Does your pain lessen in times of less stress? Yeah. Does your pain level spike or flare when you're super stressed out or angry? Does the location of your pain ever move, even slightly? Even so, it can't be structural. My back pain moved from my left side to my right side frequently during my 13 years of pain. That's this guy saying that. And me, yes. Sometimes it's in my front of my hips, sometimes the side, sometimes the SI joint, sometimes the mid, low right back. Those are the main parts. All around. That is generally it. Self-assessment. So it's a little update. What's been going on, but I feel great right now. It's been an eye-opening, incredible week. I've never been so excited about this because, again, I've said this before, like when I found the BBB, but my intuition, my gut is really telling me that this is it. And it takes hitting rock bottom to believe kind of the unbelievable, that this might not be physical, that our body is reacting to emotion, to energy, you know? And I've said, like in my video about the chronic pain, my full story, that it feels like there's a dam in my back just holding in the energy, like pain. And when I have a flare up, the dam breaks. I mean, there's a reason I said that. That's what it felt like because it's stored dark energy in me. And the pain, the dam breaking would be something triggering that and thinking that there's something wrong with me. And then boom, the dam would break and I'd have a flare up. But since realizing that this is not structural, there's nothing wrong with my body, I'm unlearning these things. You have to stop doing everything that makes you feel like you have back pain or whatever kind of pain it is. You have to dissociate with that part of your past. So I'm stop using heat pads and ice packs and stop using an extra pillow to support your lumbar. Just there's nothing structurally wrong with you, so why would you use that stuff? This is after ruling out if it's a real, something to be worried about. But doctors, nobody's ever been able to figure it out for me. In 6 years, I've done everything, as I see it, with besides like injections and steroids and surgery. But most holistic things, I've done a lot, and MRIs didn't show much, and it's this energy. And I'm facing the fears. I rode the bike, I ran, and little by little, you gotta take this stuff slow, but it's all making sense. My body just feels better. It feels cleansing every day to wake up, do the meditation, to education, learning about how the brain is affecting the body physically through the app Curable. That's guiding me through this whole thing. Writing, journaling is so important. And then weekly therapy. I'm just imbibing nonstop information on this and taking time from other distractions just to think and allow myself to really sit in it and ask the universe for signs, talk to friends and family. We're going to get through it, and we're never going to be the same. It's brilliant. What a journey. I imagine now the dam, it's not holding in negative energy anymore. There's cool, clear, blue-green water flowing through my body, and that is my breath. And it's clearing out, the magma of emotion that has been stored in me. And it's leaving. The pain is leaving my body. Getting back to the things I love. Switching my whole perspective, which is crazy, of what this pain could be and what my future looks like. Before, I thought, how am I ever gonna like travel and be that guy who just like is traveling the world and doing the things I want to do, like hiking in South America and just going to South Africa and doing the Camino de Santiago. How do I do this stuff if I gotta go to the gym and train my back, to be perfect? It's not like that anymore. The body is miraculous, and I'm just not going to think about it anymore. It's going to become so ingrained in me that that is not who I am. And the thing is now, I'm so excited about being that person. It's already me, and denying that is just creating more difficulty inside of me. It's me. It's what I want. And that's why I'm here in Japan. And it's just going to keep getting better and better until I'm not thinking about my back at all. And I've instilled this way of thinking into my subconscious. The body isn't trying to save me anymore. The body is safe. That's what it is. It's trying to save me from these emotions. But like I said, life isn't just black and white. It's nuanced. And if they do come up, now I know what they are. Now I can handle it no matter what. That's not going to stop me from living my life anymore. I'm not wondering what's wrong with me. What do I need to fix? I know that there's emotion in me that just needs healing. And the body is trying to save me. But I'm going to do everything I'm on this earth to do. I'm going to surf. I'm going to start playing basketball soon. That's a, oh my God, how bad I want to play. Just shoot around like a kid. That's the next step. Get back in the swimming pool, laps. It's made me cherish my health. That's all I want right now. It's just to be healthy and whole in my body and just do the things I love again. And it's amazing. You don't know what you have until that's taken away. You know? So cherish it, whatever you're going through. It's there to make you stronger. This life of the warrior chose me. So much better for it. All right. Much love, y'all. Peace.